Hey everybody, and happy Friday. So just wanted to pop on here to close out the week and leave you all better. So, as always, as you come on, please do say hi and where you are coming in from. Please tag some people that you feel need to see this training. You can share this. Obviously, I'd be grateful for that, so more people can be opened up to this individual training. But also, if you're coming on the replay, use hashtag replay so I know to go back and say hello and engage with you. Now, for those that have not yet registered, we're approaching 200 registrations in 5 days for our free simple content creation workshop. If you would like to register for the workshop, just type in I do at any point live or on the replay, and Nancy or myself will send you the registration link. It's June 28th to July 2nd, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern, and we're teaching you how to simply create content on social media, and we would love to see you there. So again, if you're coming on, please do say hi and where you're coming in from. Share this, tag some people. And there is my good friend Jamie. Good to see you jumping on from Northern Illinois. So what we're going to be going over today. Hey, Wes, good to see you. You too, my friend. Good to see you coming on here live. So as you're coming on live, again, say hi and where you're coming in from. Tag some people. Share this video. And if you would like to take part in our free 5-day content creation workshop, just type in I do live or on the replay, and we will send you that. So as any social media platform out there, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever it is, there are ways of getting kicked off of the platform. And Wes, I will absolutely send that to you after we hop off today. There are ways to get kicked off of the platform. There is Barbara. Good to see you coming in from Jersey. So am I. I'm in Marlton. Would love to know what part of Jersey you're from. Now, I'm going to go into a couple things in depth. So there are 3 ways right now that obviously you can get blocked. But also I'm going to go over the user agreement of LinkedIn, which a lot of people are not familiar with. My good friend Deb Baker came on. Good to see you, Deb, representing Florida. So again, as you come on, hi and where you're coming in from, share this, tag some people, hashtag replay if you're coming in on the replay, and type in I do as Wes has done if you would like to take part in our free 5-day simple content creation workshop, June 28th to July 2nd at the end of this month. So Kendall Park, awesome. So again, we're going to go over how not to get blocked and kicked off of LinkedIn. And number 1 is do not go over the 100 connection request per week limit. So for a lot of you that did not know this, this used to be 300 connection. Actually, it used to be 500 connection requests per week. It used to be 300. Then it was 200. And now it's down to 100. And Jamie said she's signed up and looking forward to it. Jamie, we are excited to have you there. Now, why this happened, number 1, is because people got what I call connection happy, where they literally went onto their My Network or did a search and they just hit connect. Literally, it's called the hashtag race to 30,000, where people were racing to 30,000 connections because they thought that was the value. That's not where the value is. The value of your network on LinkedIn is the quality people, not the quantity of people. The quality people lead to the quantity of people. So LinkedIn has been scaling back more and more because they were seeing users of the platform abusing the platform. And again, I had to learn the hard way. I think the most I would ever send out in a day was between 25 to 50. And then I started getting notices from LinkedIn that my account was going to be restricted if I didn't stop sending that many connection requests. So then I started to do some digging. And wouldn't you know, I found some articles two separate articles that stated that it was actually spammers beware, that LinkedIn has cracked down and they've reduced the weekly limit of connections, no matter whether you have Premium, Recruiter, Navigator. They reduced the limit of connections that you can send out to 100 per week, which breaks down to about 18 a day if you're doing it 7 days a week. I typically recommend sending out connections Monday through Friday. Listen, no one should be doing business on Saturday or Sunday, and it's not about grinding and doing more than most. Everyone needs to enjoy their life, not just work all the time. So I always recommend, and Jamie will tell you this, Deb will tell you this, anyone that's worked with me virtually or one-on-one or attended any of our workshops, that you want to send between 14 to 18 connections a day, 5 days a week. That will keep you between 75 to 90 connections a week. So you fly under the radar, you're not dancing with the devil, getting close to 100 connections, and you won't get restricted. Because if you go over 100, they will give you a 24-hour restriction, and then they will give you a 7-day restriction, a 30-day restriction, and then fourth, they will give you a permanent restriction. They will kick you off the platform, and you will have to start from scratch using a whole other email because they block that email from ever registering an account again. So if that makes sense, type Y or yes in the chat box. And again, if you've jumped on here late, please do say hi and where you're tuning in from. Tag some people, share this video, hashtag replay if you're coming in on the replay. And again, if you would like to sign up for myself and my wife's our free 5-day simple content creation workshop, we're going to teach you how to create content on LinkedIn. It's from June 28th to July 2nd. Type in I do. And Jamie said she's been really good about keeping it under 15 to 20 per day, Monday through Friday. Yeah. And, Jamie is one of our virtual clients. She also came to one of our workshops. And this is exactly what we teach. You want to abide by what LinkedIn allows, not what you can get away with. And she said she's been good. She's been getting a pop-up saying something after I do 10 or so. So again, LinkedIn is always giving you those kind of warnings. You don't want to dance with the devil. You want to really make sure that you are being safe and careful about how you're using the platform. So the restrictions change all the time. So really make sure that you keep it under 100 connection requests per week so you don't get blocked. Number two. Do not send more than 10 messages a day to new connections. Do not send more than 10 messages a day to your new connections. Now, if you don't have 10 people to message, good. What I do is I send at a minimum 5, maximum 10 a day, Monday through Friday. I don't message anybody on Saturday or Sunday. Those are my 2 days of work rest. Once Friday 5 o'clock hits, I'm off the clock until Monday at 10 a.m. That's just the way that I have scheduled my business, where I have those 2.5 days off. Now, if you start to go over 10 messages a day, you are literally just copying and pasting, and you're sending 15, 20, 25 messages a day. LinkedIn will catch on to that. And the same kind of warnings that you get for sending too many connection requests, you will start getting those same messages when you're sending too many messages. Because again, there have been many people that have been abusing the platform from day one. So the same people that have been abusing the connections are the same people that have been abusing the messages. So the fact is, LinkedIn looks at every single thing that we do activity-wise. They keep track of the amount of outbound connection requests that we're sending. They keep track of the outbound messages. Now, Jamie said, is that new messages or does that include going back and forth? No. So that's a great question. This only counts for new connection messages. So if you're going back and forth with someone, that is not considered a new message. That is called an open conversation. The other thing that it does not include is if you send one of those happy birthdays, the work anniversaries, congrats on the promotion, any of those automated messages that LinkedIn is giving you, that does not count towards the 5 to 10 limit per day. The 5 to 10 limit per day only pertains to new connection messages being sent out to new connections that you have made. So just, Jamie, great question, and I'm glad I was able to clarify that. Good afternoon. Good to see people jumping on. So if that makes sense, why or yes in the chat box, I just want to make sure everybody is clear. You want to keep your outbound messages to new connections only to 5 to 10. Going back and forth, that doesn't count. Using the automated messages, that does not count either. Now, number three. Do not spam message or spam add a note on LinkedIn. Do not spam message or spam add a note on LinkedIn. So you're seeing an uptick in this as well. And you can type I am in the chat box if you are. How many of you can type I am. How many of you have noticed that you are seeing an uptick in these 18 paragraph long drunkalog diatribe messages that people are sending you upon connecting? And or how many of you, type in I am, if you're getting connection requests that people are adding a note and they have these sales pitch or cheesy or cheeky one-liners to try to get you to connect with them? Type in I am if you're seeing any one of those or you're experiencing any one of those two things on LinkedIn, because I'm seeing a monumental uptick in this. And what I'll tell you is this. And Deb says I am. Yeah, I am too. What I can tell you is LinkedIn is actually kicking people off quicker now more than ever for these specific reasons. They are, I am. So again, yeah, listen, we're all not alone. We're all experiencing the same thing. Wes said, I am. Yep. And I'm sure Barbara is. I'm sure Jamie is, if you're spending any significant time on LinkedIn. Now, what I can tell you is LinkedIn is really cracking down on this. And if you notice, when you are sent a connection request, you have the option of accepting or ignoring. And there are more people now, more than ever, hitting the ignore button. So what LinkedIn is doing now is they're actually tracking the amount of ignores coming from someone's profile. And if they see that there is a significant percentage of the connection requests that they send out with a note that is selling and pitching, that is leading people to ignore the connection, they are actually kicking those people off the platform. The other way is you see a lot of people using automated messages or these long drunkalog messages. And my best advice to all of you, if you ever get one of these where you connect with someone or they connect with you and they immediately sell and pitch you, you remove the connection, number one, and then LinkedIn will ask you why you're removing the connection. I always report why I'm removing the connection. I'll say, spam message or sales pitch or whatever it is, because again, I'm looking to build connection and rapport with people on LinkedIn, not being sold to. And even when I'm connecting with people on LinkedIn, I'm not even looking to sell or pitch them. I'm looking to get to know them, understand their business. What are they struggling with? What I'm working on? How can we support each other? Is there a way to overlap? Is there a way I can help you? So again, there are more people that are reporting a lot of these profiles on LinkedIn for this specific reason and purpose. So you don't want to fall into that trap of selling and pitching in messages and adding a note. If you're going to add a note, it's got to be some sort of personal connection. You know the person from somewhere else. Maybe you heard their podcast, you read their book, you were referred to connect with them. But if it's just like a blanket statement like, oh, connect with me because you'd be a great addition to my network. No, it's not how you do it. And if you're going to send a message, follow the magic formula. State their name, reason for reaching out without selling or pitching, wanting to support one another. Do you have any time for a call or a Zoom? Do not make it this 18-paragraph long drunkalog. It never works. It's only going to get you kicked off of the platform. So if all of this has made sense so far, please type Y or yes in the chat box. Now, I'm going to dive in deep to an area that I've never dove deep into before. Now, number 4 is do not violate the LinkedIn user agreement. Now, people don't even pay attention to this. So when you sign up for LinkedIn, and there's a little checkbox that says agree to the terms and conditions of the user agreement, you are agreeing to the user agreement that LinkedIn has in place. Most of you have never read it. Most of you don't even know what the do not do's on LinkedIn are. And I'm actually going to show you what the do nots are so you can actually see how people are violating the LinkedIn user agreement. And if anyone that you connect with is telling you you can do these types of things, they're actually violating it, and you run the risk if you take their advice, or they are running the risk of also getting kicked off of LinkedIn. Now, here's what I want to show you. This is the user agreement on LinkedIn. Okay, so these are the do nots. Okay, so when you sign up for LinkedIn, you are agreeing that you will not do any of these things. You will agree that you're not going to do any of these things. And I want you guys to read this, and I'm going to read it to you. Number 1, you do not want to create a false identity on LinkedIn, misrepresent your identity, or create a member profile for anyone other than yourself, a real person, or use or attempt to use another's account. Now, where does this come into play? Anyone that has a VA or an assistant that is logging in to your account for you, you run that risk, because basically what number 1 is telling you is that they're tracking the IP address. And what the IP address is, basically that's where you're logging in from. So on my LinkedIn profile, it says Greater Philadelphia area because I live outside of Philadelphia. So the IP address is in New Jersey, which matches what is listed on my profile. Now, if I hire an assistant in California and they're logging into my profile for me, that IP address is not going to match, and then I run the risk of getting kicked off of LinkedIn for that. Number 2, develop, support, or use software, devices, scripts, robots, or any other means of processes, including crawlers, browser plugins, and add-ons, or any technology to scrape the services or otherwise copy profiles and other data from the services. So what this is telling you is there are people that, and I actually was doing a training for a networking group that actually was using a plugin that was scraping software so they could collect email addresses of those that they're connected to on LinkedIn, which is also illegal. You can't have any plugins, you can't have any software, or anything that is doing things for you. Number 3, override any security feature or bypass or circumvent any access controls or use limits of the service, such as caps on keyword searches or profile views. 4, copy, use, disclose, or distribute any information obtained from the service, whether directly through third parties, such as search engines, without the consent of LinkedIn. So everything has to be done from the platform. 5, disclose information that you do not have the consent to disclose, such as confidential information or others, including employment. Violate the intellectual property rights of others, including copyrights, patents, trademarks, trade secrets. That's pretty standard. 7, violate the intellectual property or the rights of LinkedIn, including without limitation, copying, distributor, learning videos or materials, copying, distributed technology, basically, guidelines right there. Post anything that contains software viruses, worms, or any harmful content. Reverse engineer, decompile, disassemble, decipher, and otherwise attempt to derive the source code for the services or related technology. imply or state that you are affiliated or endorsed, and this is big right here, right? Imply or state that you are affiliated with or endorsed by LinkedIn without our express consent, representing yourself as an accredited LinkedIn trainer. So, what you may all be thinking is, well, Scott, aren't you a LinkedIn trainer? Well, yes, but I don't advertise that. Now, what I'm gonna show you is on my website, and this is key. So anyone that has in their profile on LinkedIn, LinkedIn trainer, LinkedIn coach, LinkedIn expert, any of those things that again is not accredited or got approval from LinkedIn themselves is violating that code of ethics. So just to kind of show you what I'm talking about, if you actually go to my profile on LinkedIn, connection expert, does not say LinkedIn expert, expert authority mastermind, creator of Linked Leads Generation, that's an LLC, best-selling author, speaker, top podcast coach, human connection expert, business coach for personal branding and growth. Now, even down here, lead generation expert to business coaches and entrepreneurs, sales and branding marketing specialist, co-owner. And these are just some features that I was in. So nowhere do I list LinkedIn coach because I can't. If people ask what I do, I can tell them what I teach as far as social media branding. But at no point on here are you going to read LinkedIn coach. So anyone that you know that is using LinkedIn for that purpose, they're actually breaking the user agreement that we all agree to. Now, going back to the user agreement really quickly, there's another big one that I want you guys to look at. And if you look at this right here, number 13, you cannot use bots or other automated methods to access the services, add or download contacts, send or redirect messages. So what this is telling you is that you cannot use any automated software on your LinkedIn profile or you run the risk of getting kicked off because everything must be done on the platform. So if all this makes sense, type Y or yes in the chat box. So yes, I may educate and teach people how to leverage LinkedIn. I don't advertise that because I'm not allowed to. If I'm having that conversation outside of LinkedIn, I educate people on LinkedIn. Nowhere do I, that's advertised. I can't say that I'm a LinkedIn coach on my LinkedIn profile because that's violating the user agreement. So we all have to be mindful of what we can and can't do on LinkedIn. And I'm really surprised that other LinkedIn coaches are not educating their networks on LinkedIn about the user agreement, because there are things that we can and can't do, but yet people are still doing them every single day. So again, make sure that you do not go over the 100 connection requests per week limit. Do not send more than 10 messages per day to new connections. Do not spam message or add a note spammy to any connection that you are making or have. And Jamie, you're so welcome. It's my pleasure. I love doing these educational videos. But also do not violate the LinkedIn user agreement, which I just showed all of you. And it's right there for everyone to read. It's on LinkedIn. So you can't ignore it. It's there. But be mindful. And, I started educating people. If people were spam messaging me, I'm like, listen, I appreciate what you're doing, but you're running the risk of violating the user agreement and getting kicked off if too many people report that as spam. So again, I'm trying to help people on there so they don't get kicked off. And it's exactly why I'm doing this live today. So again, if you enjoyed this, type in I did. If you would like to register for our free 5-day simple content creation workshop, June 28th to July 2nd, type in I do, and I will obviously send you the registration link. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their amazing, amazing Friday. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye, everyone.